Hello there, everybody. I am really excited to announce that I'm going to do probably the most interesting story of my whole life. And I'm calling it the Journal of the Emerging New Species. That is to say, you and me. And this journal is going to be the story of our participation in the greatest moment of human history. Because on the one hand, we're declining and we could easily see the destruction of our life support system in our lifetime. And we're also seeing the possibility of a new future when we use our new capacities creatively in our lifetime. So the journal of the emergence of the new species is right at the most dramatic moment in human history. In order to catch hold of the excitement here, the first thing we all need to know is there is a new story that has just barely been discovered. And the story is the multi-billion years of nature's genius from the Big Bang, however that happened, which isn't certain, through the formation of quarks and electrons and protons and single cells and multicells and animals and you and me and everybody connecting on planet Earth at a moment of shared destruction of our life support system or shared evolution. And humanity's never been here before, and we have actually no collective experience at guiding our own evolution. That's point number one. This is the context of the new story. How are we going to know what to do from what nature has been doing for billions of years? And here is it in a few sentences. If you look at the spiral of evolution, what you see is a continual rise of three things. A rise of consciousness, as from quark to cell to animal to you, rise of consciousness. Two, rise of freedom of the individual entity, rather than being a passive cell floating in the seas of Earth, to be us going to Mars. Increase of freedom through increase of consciousness. And the third is the increase of synergy or connectivity or coming together of separate parts to make new whole bodies. Single cells form multi-cells. We've got 50 trillion cells, they say, in every one of our human bodies, all unique, all creating us. That's only a physical body. Now, if you look at the planetary body with the 7.5 billion people all interacting now on internet and communicating with each other, what you see is the second part of the story. It's a billion-year story, and we're at the exact point when the system is shifting. And it could be shifting to devolution and destruction, or for evolution and new future, or new species. At this exact moment, here's the biggest insight I have yet heard on what might be the next step. I got it from Teilhard de Chardin. He was a Jesuit Catholic paleontologist, never published by the church in his lifetime. And in a book called The Phenomenon of Man, here's what he said, that he thought the next stage of evolution is going to be when what he called the noosphere, N-O-O-S, mind sphere, now social media and internet. When the social media internet gets, quote, its collective eyes, when the nervous system of the planetary body, which is our mass media, is infused with a certain degree of conscious creativity and love, that nervous system, just like a newborn baby's nervous system, is going to wake up. And it's not just one by one by one. His thought is there would be a collective awakening of consciousness, that we are connected, we're whole, and actually we have capacities to heal the earth and free the people. I believe we are, as we're right here on the threshold of the breakdown or breakthrough, the breakthrough that we are right at the threshold of is that our mass media and our nervous system is going to be infused with more and more creativity, and that the separate innovations in our society, as nature has been doing for billions of years, the innovations in health, education, economics, science, and technology are by the nature of nature beginning to connect with each other. And here's the phrase from Ilya Prigogine. He won a Nobel Prize. How did nature go from simple and then from entropy and disorder to higher order or syntropy? From single cell to multi-cell to animal to complexity, all the way on up. It's at certain times in the evolution of our life forms, there is a nonlinear, very rapid connectivity of innovations that are working. Innovations in health, in education, in governance, in science, in technology, in relationships. All those simple innovations coming together until finally the nature of nature is they interact and they form a new whole, greater than and different from the sum of the parts. Just like, for example, an animal is really different than a single cell because of the multiplicity of small interactive cells that are creating this larger creature called animal. Then there's the early humans. They're really different than the most intelligent animal. And they say, they named this entity Lucy. Lucy came along. It looks like she was the last of the animals and the first of the humans. She looked just almost the same, but she was about to become human. And then we had Homo Neanderthal and Homo erectus, Homo Neanderthal, Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens sapiens. There's no reason to assume we're the last thing that evolution could ever create. And it turns out we're not. It turns out that we have new capacities. We have new spirituality. We have new people that are educated all over the world wanting to use their creativity for the common good. This is the story here. A huge awakening out of the crisis. Our crisis is a birth of a new humanity capable of co-evolving with nature and co-creating with species. Will we become that, or will we let ourselves go down into dysfunction, devolution, and separation? It depends on every one of us. It isn't there's not some God in the sky that's forcing it all to go in one direction. But it appears to me there is a tendency in evolution for higher order, for greater freedom, for more complex connectedness or love. Because when you start connecting to create, you know what happens? You start to love each other. It's a form of social love, vocational arousal, social love. So in my journal of the emerging species, we're going to be telling the story of this exact moment when you and I and your children and your family and everybody you know in your community is living through the greatest shift on earth. Most of us don't know it. This journal is going to be the new news. We're the new news. We're not the old news of what's breaking down. We're the new news of what's breaking through. And I am on a journey myself to help awaken the new species. With Humanity's team, Steve Farrell, and now many, many people signing up for Awaken the New Species, which I deeply desire you to look into. Awaken, just plain awakennewspecies.com. And that is going to be the story of you and me becoming a new species. And I am going to be one speaking in its behalf. We're going to have a year-long call to the new species to join together on internet. Let's see if we can turn the noosphere on and turn on its new eyes. Let's see if we can help awakening our experience of who we are becoming. Let's do that together. And let this journal of the new species be the most exciting journal that we've ever had. I look forward to keeping you up to date, and I look forward to hearing from you so that your news of what you see as emerging toward a new humanity, toward a new species, is going to be part of a year-long movement. And we're hoping that by the end of 2018, we can have a big celebration of the voices of all of us who are working for the new humanity. Thank you.